Hello, my name is Mark of Improve Our World, and I'm excited to bring a new product to the market. Been working on this thing for about 20 years. Took me longer to get there than I would like to have. In fact, humorously, I could have used this invention 20 years ago in 2001 when I stopped pursuing my career as a songwriter. I also quit martial arts and I started this project. But many digressions and but it is here. I wrote the patent. Interestingly enough, I'm a real estate agent the last 36 years of my adult life. However, this patent that I wrote was compared with two professors of a university on the East Coast that wrote a book about psychotherapy. So this invention is about helping you create habits, which is similar to psychotherapy. If you could free yourself from the habit of thinking negatively and start thinking positively and effectively adapt to life, then that is psychotherapy. When you synergize psychotherapy with meditation and high-performance techniques, that's when your life becomes amazing. And that's exactly what this invention does. It uses technology to present 7 elements to you at the right time when you need it for you to generate and control more energy until it replaces the old habits of thought with new habits of thoughts. Very exciting. The 7 elements are this. The first one is knowledge. You're going to learn 3 core sciences of physics, psychology, and biology. You're not going to learn a whole bunch of information to get a degree, so don't write home to mama. But it's going to be important that you learn about what's happening inside here in your head during your daily life. So if you're encountering something negative in your life, you're going to want to understand why and to see the antidote to change it. Of course, you'll want to if it's negative. And this is the same in every single area of your life. So knowledge is the starting module to teach you to understand what's happening. And this also creates the sensory acuity that you need about your thoughts. So you'll also deepen and expand your understanding of what's outside of you, because the metabolic process is the same as the photosynthesis process inside plants. So there's a lot of core knowledge that you're going to want to learn about, and that's what the knowledge is going to teach you. But primarily, you're going to learn about your thoughts and how to generate more energy with your imagination. Your imagination is key in this invention. Using language to fire off your imagination, to go in a direction until you need some more language, and then you fire off the language that ignites the imagination to create life experience. And these life experience images that you're practicing is repeated, and it literally creates new synaptic pathways. Now that's part of the knowledge that you're going to learn about psychology. It actually, interestingly enough, is biology, and it's the cause and effect relationship between psychology and biology. You see, as you think thoughts over and over again, it creates pathways in your brain. And these pathways are the thoughts that you're going to think until you can stop them from flowing. And how do you do that? By every time you catch yourself thinking it, you stop. And then you think the alternative thought, the opposite thought, the antidote thought to that thought that is negative that you don't want in your life. And those pathways inside your brain are key to track. And the way that you find out the construction, the foundation of these thoughts, of these pathways inside your brain, observe your thoughts. And what you want to do is you want to develop the habit of highly effective and highly productive and highly skilled habits of thought. You might be flowing more energy at certain times of your life, and other times you may shut down the energy and go into a brain state called alpha. Brain waves are really cool. I'll teach about them in the video. But the main thing you want to know is alpha stops the chattering of self-talk. And it's those 2 types of thoughts that you're going to focus on as you develop your awareness. Now, awareness is the second module. To improve your life and to realize your highest level of ability to enjoy the best life possible for you, You're going to develop awareness inside as well as outside, but the focus is inside, because you see, most people alive today and since the beginning of time are not aware of their thoughts, and they get into struggle and cycle around in a negative argument inside their head of explaining something, why things are so bad, or complaining negatively, why is this way? And these types of thoughts really consume almost everybody's life at some point. People that meditate a lot and have a lot of positive relationships in their life, they have less of them. Pretty much all of us get there from time to time. The key is to practice the thoughts that you want in your life, to replace and cause those negative thoughts to just literally disappear from your life. Exactly as if you know somebody's phone number and you can recite it, but then you quit calling that person. And months go by and years go by before you know it. Guess what? You probably may not be able to remember it, and if you do, it'll certainly take some thought, right? Unless you associate it with something in your current day life. Well, that's what you want to do to the negative thoughts. You want to eliminate the negative thoughts by simply stop thinking them. And awareness, the second module, you'll develop a sensitivity to negative and mindless thought. This is key. Now, you'll also begin to identify habits of thought. And you're going to just identify them. You're not going to judge them, which is what you don't want to do. You want to identify it and go, this is that thought. It's negative, it's mindless. And then you drop it and go right into the positive. And by the way, that is what you learn when you meditate. When you meditate, you relax, you go into alpha. And then as your thoughts come in, instead of focusing on your thoughts focusing on your breath, your thoughts are going to fire off, and then you're going to go, look, there's a thought. And you're going to release and go back to meditation of observing or focusing on your breath or some other thing, like maybe the loving kindness prayer, which is amazing, by the way. There's many wonderful prayers or meditations out there for you to practice. And I intend and will deliver all of them into practice sessions that you can practice in the perfect practice environment, which is the fourth element. So you have your knowledge and your awareness. The next module is high performance. High performance module is, I think, a wonderful idea. It brings the physical world into the mental world. You see, if you go out into the world and you want to learn to be a better athlete or a lawyer or a teacher or a salesman or a mom or a dad, the best way to get there is you find somebody that's already doing it, and then you study what they're doing, and then you imitate it. Now, you don't do it with a twist so much. You can do it with your own flavor, but you don't do it with such a big twist that you lose effectiveness, right? You want to be as effective as possible. And when you study the skill, the habit, the ability to create what you want in your life, you develop detailed, specific, finite knowledge of what's happening. Now, in the moment of the flow of the life, you let go of that information and you just let it flow, like an athlete in a game, right? But first, you want to slow down and study it. And that's what the high performance module will turn into. Once it shows you all of the details of what it looks like in flow, but then it's also going to identify and articulate all of the relevant aspects of that high performance. So the high performance module is going to possess a lot of information. I can imagine in 3 to 5 years having almost every single challenge a man, woman, child, senior citizen faces in their daily life. The struggle of eating too much food or not wanting to exercise or encountering somebody negative and how do you diffuse their anger or staying clear of problems by using your intuition to stay focused. Every single challenge you can face, we can capture, use cinematography to create different perspectives of the ability. We'll probably have a screen here devoted to the inner world of thought. And then here we'll have a screen of the outer world of what you're seeing and doing. And by the way, this one's like neurolinguistics programming, which is kind of cool. And you maybe see it from a side perspective. Maybe you'll imagine yourself from the side, and you'll imagine yourself looking out your eyes, and you'll imagine yourself maybe seeing somebody else seeing you. And so these thoughts that you practice, you'll practice with as much control and as much energy as you can muster. Best effort. Best effort's important. It's one of the key elements of accelerating, changing your life and improving it. Because if you don't give best effort and you give half effort, well, you're going to experience half of the growth that is possible for you. If you give 3/4, you can do the math. So you see, best effort is one of the core elements that I discovered in writing the patent. Wrote the patent for 1.5 years. So the high performance module is exciting. Just imagine a huge library of high performance abilities that you could just go, well, I want to get better at dealing with this. And all of a sudden you have a library of quick little movies that you can watch and introduce you to it and then teach you it. And then you imitate it and you practice it and you literally program it in to your nervous system. Exciting. Where do you program it into your nervous system? The perfect practice environment. And that is in an environment that I imagined with my mind, knowing meditation, high performance, spirituality, using your imagination, neurolinguistics programming, the power of creative imagination. We're going to have goggles that will block out everything. You'll be in a black environment, so your eyes will be open, but you'll have the blackness of your eyes being closed, which will allow you to drop into alpha. Alpha is a brain wave that is clear of irrelevant information to being relaxed and being able to ignite imagination. It is the pictures that will be the majority of the content that you'll be practicing in the practice sessions. I like to call them practice repetitions, because you'll only be able to go for 30 seconds to a minute. Maybe when you become really, really evolved, you might get up to 3 to 5 minutes. But you see, you're going to have sessions where you imagine your life powerfully the way you want it. Then you're going to relax, just like lifting weights. You get on the bench and you do some bench press and you work those muscles, and then you stop and you rest and you give your body an ability to recoup. Well, that is exactly the same thing we're doing with the perfect practice module to create the new pathways in our brain that cause us to stop thinking the negative thoughts that are causing us to continue to live the life that we're living, but rather we create those new ones. So the perfect practice module, the goggles, we have the videos of what's inside of you, what's outside of you from different perspectives. You have the language and then the image. So before you know it, we'll shut down the two visions of what's inside and what's outside, and then you'll just have the image of what you're imagining. And it might just be a single picture. It could be a moving picture. I believe it's going to be a single picture because you need to imagine it and create it with your mind. It's the fact of creating it is like expressing it, is what you want to do in your life. It's like if you watch somebody play a sport and you watch them and you watch them and you watch them, it's good, but you got to get out there and play. You have to imagine it. And that's what the practice module is going to do. It's set up the perfect environment that we will develop. Hopefully you will join and be a part of it. And we'll refine the timing of the language and the image, and the language and the image. And of course the language is going to go through the cycles of declaring that you want it, which desire is huge. Desire is huge. And then determination, that you believe you can do it, and then you expect it to happen. Thank you, Jose Silva. Might have been somebody else that taught him that, but that's where I learned it from. So those three elements are part of the language that ignites the imagination, that creates the beliefs, that creates the synaptic process to create the new reality of habits of thought that flow inside of you that cause you to become the person you need to be so you can enjoy what you want. Exciting, exciting. All right, so that is the practice module. Now, once you're done with the practice module, which by the way is the center of the invention, it is the practice module. If you're going to do any of the 7, do the practice module, but why skip out on 7 when we have them all here for you in one organized place? being perfectly synergized together to get the most effect possible. And again, you could contribute to it. Oh, is that a sales pitch? I think so. So once you have the practice module, then you schedule your practice as well as everything else. You schedule being more effective with this person you want to improve a relationship with. You schedule eating a healthier diet. Oh my goodness, you got to push away the double burger with fries or add lettuce on it and hold back the fries and have a side salad. The challenges of health and happiness. And of course, being more focused at work. You're going to schedule these things. And of course, the next module is the reminder, which reminds you to do it, but that's a different module. This module, you have the schedule, and then you're going to monitor how you did. So you're going to monitor how you practice. After the practice session, you'll be gauging, identifying how you did in the practice session. But then in life, you're going to use the next module, the sixth one. So you have the schedule and the monitor, and then you have the reminder. During the flow of busy life, you're going to be reminded to engage those high performance thoughts and to execute those thoughts with your full entire brain. Very, very important. Many people only use part of their brain because they've been learned not to give best effort because they've been criticized against making a mistake. Well, you see, if you go all out, you're going to make mistakes until you pull back and refine and develop the skills. Well, we've been criticized as children, just about all of us have, and so we don't give best effort, except for the lucky few that learns that mistakes are okay and they go for it, right? So you have the reminder to act, and then you have the capture. Capture is exciting. Let's talk about a very important issue, and I like parenting or human relations. You can work in any of the three: making more money, taking care of your body, or interacting with a person. So let's say there's something really important in your life. Now you've developed detailed knowledge of mastering that skill, of completing that task during the day, effectively communicating, making money, taking care of your body. And you developed finite knowledge of when you were on track and when you got off track. Thoughts are just like physical action, remember. Identical. It's thoughts instead of physical action. So if you develop the sensory acuity to know what your thoughts are, then all of a sudden you can go, oh look, it was right here. You know, you're talking to somebody you love and you want to nurture them. Maybe the relationship's gone sour. Maybe they're struggling. And then you're looking at their eyes and your brain is brilliantly processing how they're doing and how your words are impacting them and your facial expressions are impacting them. And you're going great, and all of a sudden you realize, I lost it right here. They went negative. You maybe said something negative because it's a habit of yours to say negative stuff because that's what you were taught in your child. So then with that capture, you capture that moment. And you, when the experience is over, you turn around and you capture it. You say, when talking to Tom or Sue, at this key moment, I lost focus and I didn't get as positive experience as I could have, right? You bring that back to your practice session and guess what? You practice that specific moment in that experience over and over again. And guess what? The next time you're with that person, you will get better at that moment. Doesn't mean you might fall off over here. Maybe you have expectations of not getting the results that you want. Well, imagine your life being amazing will cause those expectations to work. The human brain is an amazing computer, incredible computer. And this technology is going to allow us to develop the potential. You know, when the great Einstein passed away, they did an autopsy and his brain had an extra amount of connective tissue, synaptic processes. The genius that created the theory of relativity and imagined himself traveling on a beam of light to have the great historic insights he had, he used his imagination. And that's what this technology is going to do for you. I'm not going to say you're going to develop the theory of relativity, but you don't need to. What you do want to do is to develop your imagination enough for you to see the cause and effect realities that are determining your health and happiness. And you see, when you imagine it with your own imagination, you're recreating the cause and effect realities that are the truth, the relevant truth, for you to understand personally what's happening in your life that actually relevantly applies to everyone's life. We all have to adapt to the habitats that we live in, that are environments where other people are interacting with us. And when we imagine that clearly and meticulously, then we understand. And with understanding, we see the benefit of practicing, imagining, catching those negative thoughts and practicing and programming in the new habits that change our reality, that change our habits of thought and the experiences, to free ourselves from negative thoughts and to replace them with positive, loving, and effective thoughts. That's what this technology is going to be able to do for you and me. So I hope I've excited you, inspired you. I hope I've sold you. Please go sign up for a subscription. It'll help me hire all of the talented people that I need to develop this technology to its fullest, to enable anybody who uses it to improve their life by creating new habits of increased abilities faster than is humanly possible without the use of technology. Please sign up. Thank you for listening for the tape. I hope you enjoyed it. Please listen to more. I do humbly believe I have good information that specifically relates to living life and doing it well to enjoy the best life possible for you. Thank you.